You're my elder. How old are you, David?
Do I need to reveal that
I mean, you don't need to reveal it.
in front of everybody? Oh
I mean,
my
if it
God.
sounds like you're not comfortable revealing it, it's
Well, I
fine.
used to not be comfortable, but I am proudly 65 years
65
old.
years old.
That's right.
Phil, for you.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
46 years old. So you're definitely one of our elders, an
Hmm.
elder amongst our
Hmm.
community. Is that
Yeah.
a,
The elder is actually a role, like an energy that people take on.
mm-hmm.
I don't want to get too deep into it.
Yeah.
And like it's associated, for me, it's associated with letting go of the making change, like doing things in the world, and more about supporting the community. That's sort of, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I, at least right now, I think I'm going to not do so much of that, but continue doing
Doing stuff
this.
in the world.
That's right. Yeah. Bringing my gifts and pushing my edges until I'm 105,
My bad
that's
on
kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
sharing that you're an elder. You're not
That's
an elder
right. So
yet.
that's a projection,
Yeah.
right?
I
And
guess I was thinking of
not
it
true for me.
purely in age.
I hear you. So this
Yeah.
is what we do. Someone's age means this.
Yeah.
And most people, when I play tennis afterwards, yeah, you're 48 or something, right? Like I look younger than I am.
Mm,
And I tell them that, and it's like, oh, wow, I had this impression of you. And now, yeah, like we put all kinds of things on each other.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't know why that came up for me. I think
You were trying to praise me, I think,
it
right?
was
Like
around
something positive.
being role models. This idea that, there's a lot of folks that are a lot younger than us and that have
Mm.
had a lot less life experience.
Yes.
And I believe there's a responsibility we have to
Mm.
model and to show up in the world having learned from all those experiences and
Yes.
having grown through all
Yes.
those experiences so we can help
Yes.
lead the way for younger folks.
Absolutely. So my word is mentorship.
Mm,
I fully claim that I love being a mentor and being mentored.
yeah,
So
me too.
that's a huge. So I haven't named this. That's a huge part of solid men's communities.
Yeah.
Is they offer opportunities to pair up with someone and kind of go on a journey together, sort of like in 12 Step and some other communities.
That's what Phails is.
What do you mean?
I invite people to mentor me in
Uh-huh.
areas, and I've done it with more than 30 people now. And in each one, this is the beginning of a conversation that can continue. And through that continuation, last night, Cole Garrett, he was the one I failed at with photography. He was with me all evening, setting up all the lights and dialing in all the cameras. And we talked about photography, and we had an interview. I interviewed him again. And he looked at my photographs that I'd taken and critiqued them and gave feedback. And we looked at his photographs. And so this show is about mentorship,
That's so awesome.
about learning and growing, doing, reflecting.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. So yeah, so that's a core value in positive men's work is encouraging men to seek not only the support of the circle, but individual mentorship and skill development, career development, personal relationships.
Yeah.
So a lot there, and there's a lot of mutual mentorship, right? We're doing this with each other.
Something
So,
comes up for me. The book we read we've probably both been exposed to The Iron Giant, that book.
Iron John.
Iron John.
That's
That's
right.
right. Iron
Yes.
John. And part of that book is this relationship a young man has to an older man to get that mentorship.
Hmm.
Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah, this is a longer conversation, but
Yeah.
that's about like the wild man part of ourselves.
But I
And
think it for me it maps to, the in Joseph Campbell's hero's journey that plays out in all the movies and all the best stories. if we just look at Star Wars.
Yeah, and
There's
also like around the world. Like
Yeah.
this is a cultural thing
Yeah,
around
it's
the
not
world.
just American.
That's right.
But if we just look at Star Wars,
Yes.
you have Luke Skywalker. A part of his growth, a part of his trajectory, a part of his ascension
Yes.
is connecting with Obi-Wan Kenobi, this older, wise master,
Uh-huh.
and being mentored.
Huh. Yeah.
And the reason I bring it up is I have this fear that in our current kind of culture, a younger person being connected to an older person is automatically kind of seen as weird
Huh.
or strange
Huh.
around,
Like the older person might be grooming the younger
Yes.
person.
yes,
That's where people
doing
go.
something, that's not
It's true.
virtuous.
So one of the benefits of having a community that has a lot of bonds and everyone knows each other and creating mentorship within that container is that other people get to observe these
Oversight.
other relationships.
Yeah.
This is a really good point. Okay, so yeah, I got to name this is I have been a part of a number of growth communities, and I would say half of them, broadly speaking, have had this quality of having one or two or three people sort of at the top. These are the founders.
Mm-hmm.
They're the thought leaders. They're seen as the leaders of this community. And as a consequence of, or maybe it started out this way, I don't know, but there's this power dynamic that I have seen in communities where these people in power start to abuse their power.
Mm-hmm.
And often they'll create these relationships where there's this power dynamic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know where all that can go. It can just, be all kinds of negative things that can happen.
Yeah.
So when I got involved with Mankind Project, I was very sensitive to looking at this issue. Mankind Project has very formal mechanisms in place to oversee the leaders. Like on the weekends, there are these men that are tasked with being shadow watchers, and they're actually just observing the leaders, looking for certain types of power-focused behaviors.
Mm.
And they have check-ins during the weekend, and then afterwards they get to report to other people outside the circle. So there's like this attempt to circumvent these kinds of issues.
Yeah.
And I've actually seen MKP where I was on a weekend and there's a man that chose to do some real different things that like he thought he and people and followed him because we were following his leadership. And it turned out that they basically said he's not going to be a leader anymore because he actually went down these kind of power trippy roads, and that just totally increased my trust even more. That there's, they see that there's a pattern, and we've got to set up systems to make sure that we don't have, gurus and power trippers and stuff like that.
That's like transparency, bringing everything into the light, that there's oversight,
Absolutely.
accountability.
Yeah.
There's
It's a safe place for even the lowest man to say things in the circle to the leader,
mm-hmm.
and to have the men support that communication.
Right.
I've seen that many times.
Yeah.
So that's very important.
Yeah. I'm glad we spoke about that.
Mm-hmm.